Just as a disclaimer, I know some people are going to find this video offensive, and before we get started, I'd like to say you're welcome. So, you are probably a man-child, and that's something I had to really become more aware of myself, and something I had to recognize in myself. And the main reason that you, similar to the old version of me, are a man-child is because you refuse to take responsibility for your life. And you refuse to take responsibility for where you are in your life. Now, this is something I struggled with for a long time. I was one of those people that would always make excuses for myself or blame others for things that happened in my life. Whether that was my parents, my family, my friends, or just the world as a whole being against me. And it wasn't until I took a step back and really acknowledged the fact that most of the pain that I was going through was self-inflicted. Most of the hardships that I was going through were hardships that I put on myself based on my decisions. Now, were these decisions misguided, maybe due to how I was raised or things that I was taught to believe in? Yes. But it comes to a point where this is your life. You have to accept that. This is your existence, and you have to choose how much power you have. How much power do you believe you have? Because a lot of us believe we have a lot less power than we actually do. Because whether you were raised by, a single mother or raised by abusive parents, there's still a part of life where you choose what you do with your 24 hours. You choose what you do each day. And there has to be a point where you accept that I've made bad decisions, regardless of how I came to these decisions. In order to live the life that I want to live, I'm going to have to do something about this. I'm going to have to change something. It's clear that life around me isn't going to change unless I change. But the major issue in the man-child is that he believes that he deserves things. The man-child believes that he is owed good things, he's owed success, that he's owed respect. And this is mainly due to the fact that they lack these things. They feel like the world should be fair and that everyone should have a turn, to feel good about themselves. Or the harsh reality of the world is that life is not fair. You're not owed anything. Anything that you have in this world, you're going to have to fight for it. And I know that sounds horrible, because I know it sounded horrible to me when I had to realize this. But that's the reality of the world that we live in. If you want something, you're going to have to go get it. And there's going to be a line of other people that want the exact same thing that you do. Now, it's not to say that life is a competition, but you'd be lying to yourself if you didn't admit that there is some competitive aspects to life. Especially when it comes to things like success and, living your dreams, basically. But the major issue with the man-child is that he believes that things should just happen for him. He believes that, he can just sit around on his arse all day, and eventually things will just get better, because, that's how it works in the movies, that's how it works in the media that he consumes. Until he realizes that this is not the case, and that he's been lying to himself. And that the only hero in this story is himself. Although right now he doesn't seem like the hero archetype, he has to understand that he's able to mold himself. You are able to mold yourself into this savior, into this hero for yourself. Because trust me, no one's going to come and do it. And I wasted a lot of years waiting for someone to magically appear in my life and just solve my problems for me. And I would still be waiting to this day if I didn't step up and become that person for myself, and now for other people in my life. The truth is, the man-child is afraid of themselves. They're afraid to admit that they're wrong. They're afraid to admit that they don't know as much as they think they do. Because, believe it or not, the man-child has a massive ego. And not in the traditional sense of ego where they, are able to overpower others and dominate other people. It's more like this sense of ego where they believe that they know it all. The man-child believes that he knows everything that he needs to know, when really he just has a very small worldview. Maybe you know everything in your small sphere, which you probably don't, but until you understand that there's a vast amount of information, out there in the world that you have not yet touched. And the answer to a lot of your issues may be behind this information that you have, dismissed as being unnecessary and uninteresting to you. Because a large part of making the transition from the man child to a man, or like manhood basically, is being able to be versatile. So being able to be different things at different times for different people. The man child is stuck in his ways. The man child believes that the way that he is just the way he will always be, and that there's no need for growth, there's no need for change, that how he is now is just how he's going to be for the rest of his life. And the main reason that the man child believes this is that he's afraid. He's afraid of, losing a part of himself. He's afraid of, having to grow, because that means he's gonna have to, leave a part of himself behind. And the truth is, the man child is really, really connected to this damage and hurt and trauma that he's been through, because this is what he's used as his identity his whole life, and he doesn't know who he is without his trauma. The man child doesn't know his identity without the pain that he's gone through. And as someone who for a long time was defined by their pain, I can tell you just how difficult it is to kind of get rid of that identity of like being the victim. Because the truth is, being a victim feels good in a weird way. It feels good to be like, yeah, everything's fucked because everyone fucked me. Like my life's messed up because someone else made it that way. When in reality, the harsh truth of life is that your life is just your responsibility. It is yours. When you become a man, when you're, when you've got your free time and you're able to choose what you do, that's your life now. As soon as you have that ability, there's no more excuses anymore. Your life isn't how it is. Your life isn't the life you want right now, because technically you don't deserve to have that life. And again, this could be a harsh reality for you hearing this, and it may make you feel like this is all pointless, but it's just okay. Like, it's okay to admit that right now I'm not the kind of guy that has the things that I want. As long as you're working towards becoming that kind of person, what else can you do in this life? Another major issue of the man-child is that they are run by fear and greed. The man-child is so reluctant to let go of their childish ways. They'll avoid accountability and avoid any sort of responsibility at all costs, even if it's at their own demise or to their own loss. They really don't care. And a lot of the time, the man-child will have this kind of air of, I don't care about that, I don't give a fuck. When really, they care a lot. They care a lot about other people's opinions of them. They care a lot about how people perceive them. But they like to hide this with this kind of air of nonchalance and this air of, yeah, I couldn't really care less. But it's all a facade. Because only a strong man can admit that he's vulnerable. Only a truly wise man can admit that he doesn't know everything. Yet the man-child refuses to do both of these things. The man-child will sit there knowing that, the way that they live in life is not helping them, but they'll be too stubborn to ask for help. Because the man-child is run by fear and greed, as I said. A lot of this fear comes from shame. The shame of not being who they believe they should be. In order to avoid this fear that they inflict on themselves, they'll distract themselves with whether it's gaming, drugs, women, alcohol, whatever it is, just something to stop them having to reflect and understand that they're self-sabotaging. And the man-child will often be surrounded with other people like him, other men who, have this same sort of attitude when it comes to life. That nothing's their fault. They don't really owe anyone anything. They don't have to respect others. Let's just have fun. Let's just do whatever we can to fill our bellies with like the most degenerate shit, basically. And as someone who used to be surrounded with those kind of men, I can tell you firsthand that they're extremely sad inside. There's a part of them that's dead inside, 100%. A lot of them have given up on their conscience. A lot of them have given up on their conscience, I should say. A lot of them have kind of given up on trying to do the right thing for themselves. And honestly, it's a really scary place to be, because it's so easy to get swept up with this crowd and never make it out. So if you are a man-child watching this, and a lot of the things I've said have connected with you, I want you to know that it's not the end of your story. This isn't how things have to be. You can change, you can grow, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be extremely difficult, because you're going to have to change the way that you view yourself. You're literally going to have to change your identity. You're going to have to change the things that you believe in. And this is going to, requires a form of ego death, which is basically letting go of the things you used to believe in and working hard to replace them with beliefs that really do equate to the type of person you want to be. And that's difficult. That is pretty difficult to do. It's something I'm still in the motion of doing, and I'm 4 or 5 years into this journey. So yeah, I want you to know that if you are a man-child and what I've said in this video has resonated with you, just know that this road that you're about to go on to becoming a man that you can be proud of being, it's going to be filled with hurdles, difficulties, struggle, but at the end of it, there's going to be salvation. Whether that's, you finally being able to be proud of who you are, you being able to help others, you being able to be an example for other people. For me, this is what really brings me joy, as I say with a straight face, but yeah, it does actually bring me joy. It does make me feel proud of myself that I've really grown as a person and I've been able to help people, man. It's a feeling I really want more people to feel, because I feel like in this world right now, we're very isolated, we're very, in our own heads, everyone's very quiet. Yeah, so I want you to know that you don't have to live life the way you've been living it. There is, there is hope for you. There is hope. That's what I want to leave you with. There's hope. As long as you're alive today, as long as God has given you breath in your lungs, there's hope for change, for growth, for fulfillment. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. If you do need help with your journey of healing and growing and, leaving this man-child identity behind, I really do suggest that you download my ebook, which is called A Guide to Healing and Growth. I'll leave it in my description. It will literally take you through the journey from start to finish of healing and growing and changing your identity. So I really do think it will benefit from giving it a read. So yeah, appreciate you watching. If you've watched this far, very cool of you. Let me know what you think about the setup. I think it's a bit more relaxed, a bit more chill, a bit more vibey. But yeah, cool. It's good talking to you. See you later. Peace.